What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy Pod with your host, Slim. Slimothy. I just saw the name tag today. Slimothy today.
Yeah,
Also, you can find him on X at RTR30111. And myself, Scotty. You can find me at Scotty Drown on X or Twitter, whatever you like to call it. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in already. It looks like we got 5 heads in here, 7 heads in here so far right now. So keep them coming. Keep on sharing the show out. Get some more viewers in here. And be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. That makes the show more fun for us. It makes the show more fun for you as well, I would imagine. So definitely get involved in the show. But my man Slimothy, that's a pretty smooth name. I really like that one. We might have to
yeah,
keep that one. But what's good, Slimothy? How's your Tuesday going, my
it's
man?
good, bro. Doing good, man. Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. How you enjoying the conference finals so far, my man?
I mean, well, in the Eastern Conference was no surprise what the
They're
Celtics did,
over.
right? Yeah. So,
Yeah,
meanwhile, on the other hand, the Western Conference, I mean, man, I definitely didn't expect the Timberwolves to go down 0-3 for sure. If anything, at this rate, I expect to be close to tie, like 2-1, or
yeah.
it's going to game 4. So, but yeah, man, just been enjoying watching these games or whatnot, just different things like this. So yeah, been enjoying it.
Yeah, we're definitely about to get into all of it. As you guys can see by the title of the show, the Celtics sweep the Pacers last night. They finish them off. But they did have some close games mixed in there, some close games without Halliburton as well.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into all of that. We'll dive into the matchup tonight. Could be could be the Timberwolves getting swept tonight. Might have to get the brooms out again in back to back nights. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm hoping not, but we're going to talk about it. We'll make predictions. And then at the end, if we have a little bit of time left, we're going to get into the All NBA teams as well, discuss those, any hits, misses, things that we like, things that we dislike. But
yeah,
let's start at the top, man. Let's start with the biggest news there is, and that is the Indiana Pacers getting swept on their home court last night. Boston Celtics were able to come away with a 105-102 win. Derek White with the big shot at the end. Jaylen Brown wins player of the series. So he was deemed the best player in this series for the Boston Celtics and across the board. Instant reaction to the Pacers getting swept, maybe even more deeply into last night's game if you want to get into that a little bit more.
yeah,
But
for
what are
sure.
your thoughts there?
Man, I say it's kind of no surprise that the Celtics handle business, and rightfully so. Halliburton missed the last 2 games, correct?
Yeah,
So yeah, he
yeah,
missed the last 2 games, so it's kind of hard to win without your best player. But
that's
I
true.
mean, after game 1, I say the Pacers really blew that chance of winning this series. I mean, they had that game, and they just basically gave it to the Celtics. I mean, you could argue that
Yeah,
even game 3 as well, like just the inexperience. It came into like show or whatnot with Drew Holiday getting that huge steal on Nimhard or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, man, just the Pacers, man, they're just a young, inexperienced team at the moment. As years to come, they'll get better for sure. They add more vets around Halliburton and all those young guys. But yeah, man, there's no surprise that the Celtics went out there and handle business for sure. But yeah, if you want to dive into the game last night, we can dive into that too.
yeah. No, no doubt, no doubt. We can get a little more specific in here, but I do agree with everything you said. I don't think I'm surprised that the Celtics won. I'm a
Yeah.
little surprised that they swept, I guess, but
Yeah,
when
you
you
can say
look at
that there.
what they did all season, when you look at Halliburton missing 2 games, both of those being the ones at home that you should have a chance of at least winning one of those, you don't
Right.
have Halliburton in those. You don't have a Benedict Mathurin, right? I
Right.
know coming into the playoffs they didn't have him, so
Right.
there's it started to become too much for them. Obviously, losing your best player. But they played them tough as hell, right? Like both
Yeah.
of these games were close. You like you said, game 3, they should have won. Game 1, they should have won, quite honestly. And then game 4, they played them down to the wire, and it took a Derek White dagger 3 to put the Pacers away. But I wanted to get your thoughts on a Pacers player that I thought stepped up really well in this series, and especially the last 2 games without Halliburton. And you probably know what I'm about to say, but Andrew Nimhard
Yeah.
was really balling out the last 2 games. Last night, 24 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, efficient, 10 for 18 from the field, 3 for 6 from the 3-point line. What are your thoughts on Andrew Nimhard? Kind of the way he stepped up in this series, but then going forward for the Pacers is like is he a top quality role player? Is he more than a role player? What are your thoughts on him?
He can for sure be a top quality role player. I mean, um, his first year in the league, man, he caught my attention because you
Yeah.
got guys that you label like Warriors killer, like Nas Reed of the world, and Nimhard
Yeah.
is one of them. Like every time he played this dude, he would just kill us,
I got
bro.
Sixers
Literally.
killers. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
you.
he
I
would
feel you.
just kill us every time. Like he would just get to it. I think one time he would drop the triple double on us or something like that. But yeah, man, Nimhard, he nice. But yeah, you can say like a top quality role player for sure. Just playing with that irrational confidence going out there, and
Yeah.
the way those guys like to get up and down the court, he fits perfectly with it.
Yeah,
Just
I agree.
being out to run in transition and make plays or whatnot. So yeah, for sure.
Was there anybody that you thought maybe would step up for the Pacers that really, really didn't show up, or somebody that kind of missed the call on their end?
I mean, you could to a certain extent argue that Pascal could have been better than what he was.
Last
Just
night,
given,
especially. Yeah.
just given like what he's accustomed, that what we are accustomed to seeing him do, like
Yeah.
when it matters the most. So yeah, we could definitely like say him, especially like with Tyrese being out as well. I mean, not Tyrese Halliburton. Well, yeah, Tyrese being out.
Yeah. We
Nimhard
don't
was
call him
the
Tyrese too often, I feel like.
yeah, Halliburton. But with Halliburton being out, you would have thought he would have been a leading scorer, but instead it was
Yeah.
Nimhard, right, for the past two
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah,
was.
you would have thought that Pascal would have been more aggressive going out there looking for a shot. But yeah, like with last night game too, there was just a lot of miscommunication on the defensive end. Like they broke down tape this morning on first take or whatever. So for that Derek White corner three ball, like
Yeah.
initially it was Siakam in the corner and yeah, he was guarding Al Horford, and then they set like some type of screen for Drew Holiday to get Miles Turner on Jaylen Brown, which was a mismatch to get
Yeah.
from the get go. And then as he got past Turner, you had hella option because you had Tatum on the wing open, you had Drew Holiday at the top of the key, and you had Derek White in the corner. So it just was bad communication. You had TJ McConnell like playing the as a rim protector while Turner
Yeah.
is on the perimeter. So it just was like
Yeah.
bad
No,
miscommunication from the
doesn't make
get go,
sense.
man. So yeah, but those guys they should be better though moving forward. They got to get some more, proven guys out there alongside those young
I
guys,
agree.
man.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you that, like, well, kind of ask you that, but more in the sense of like style of play. Do you
Yeah,
think next season, like going into next season, obviously Tyrese Halliburton is at the helm, and when he's healthy, they run like a well-oiled machine.
yeah,
Do you continue to try to push the pace and be the fastest pace, the highest scoring team in the league, or do you take a step back from that and maybe step up on the end of the defensive side of the ball a little bit? Like, do you try to go and find more defensive oriented players to add to the offensive players you already have that are
yeah,
kind of booming here, or do you just continue with that trend and just try to score as many points, just try to run everybody out of the gym?
yeah.
What do you think?
I feel like it
Is
could be
can
like a
that style
mixture.
win?
Yeah, I feel like it could be like a mixture of both in a sense, like.
Do a
In the
little bit of
regular
both.
in the regular season, you can't like do that because at the end of the day, playoff basketball and regular season are two different things. So you
Yeah,
can push the pace and run up and down the court all you want to during the regular season, but come postseason, I mean, you have to like realize certain situations. Okay, you got to slow things down in half court. Get some good quality shots up or whatnot, and even on the defensive end as well, like being able to like set your defense or
yeah.
whatever matchups that y'all have going into that game, be able to get to it or whatnot, but. Yeah, it could be a mixture of both things, though, man.
Taco Apocalypse. He's checking in from Twitch for us.
Okay.
Even with good players, Pacers will always just be boring to me after those Paul George, Roy Hibbert teams, at least. I feel I don't know. I think you got to watch them a little bit this year. I get it. It's not like the big name players that we're
Yeah.
accustomed to or accustomed to like watching and being entertained by, but when they're playing at that high tempo, fast pace, when Tyrese Halliburton is out there orchestrating and he's fully healthy,
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very entertaining team and a very entertaining way of playing basketball. Just for the casual fan, maybe not for like the pure hooper that wants to see like defensive attention and stuff like that, and defensive stops consistently.
Yeah.
But I think for the casual fan, you want to see the ball go in the net as much as possible. It just makes it more fun. Um, So yeah, and I do think like one thing that is being slept on with the Pacers a little bit, not by us. I don't mean by us or anything. I just mean in general, the talk around the Pacers. But Benedict Mathurin, I'm really high on him as a player as well. I
Me
think
too.
he could have made a huge difference in this postseason for them. Just being a scorer, like consistent scorer. Like if you could get a guy like maybe Ben Shepherd out of the playoff rotation, or I mean, we saw Doug McDermott coming in here at the end of the series. Like any one of those guys, if you could just get them out of the playoff rotation, I think it looks a lot better with Mathurin in there. And then obviously healthy Hallie. But on the Celtics side of things, what were your thoughts there? Because Jaylen Brown comes away with player of the series. Tatum, ultimately in this series, I feel like he kind of has gotten shit on by the casual viewer, just because of the inefficiency from the scoring standpoint, but he is rebounding at an elite clip for his size, for what he normally does there. He did have 26, 13, and 8 last night, right? Like if that's a bad night for Tatum, then what's a good night look like? But
Yeah.
ultimately, Brown gets crowned. White hits the game winner. What are your thoughts around the Celtics? Does this team look different to you compared to other seasons?
Yeah, for sure, man. They definitely look different. They look way different when they get Porzingis back for sure. I mean,
Yeah, that's
just
fair.
yeah, the way they like to he'd
That's
be like more
crazy.
of a full spacer too, like being able to run that 5 out offense and get downhill to the rim. But yeah, man. Yeah, you hit it on the head. I'm glad you brought up that point with Jason Tatum rebounding because he has been huge. I gotta give him his props.
Yeah,
He's averaging like 10.5 rebounds a game. And just getting down low, getting physical, grabbing rebounds. So yeah, shout out to him for that. But yeah, man, well deserved for JB to get
I agree.
that award for sure, man. He could arguably say he been the most consistent Celtic all playoff. Like he hasn't really had a bad game, honestly. Like from a efficiency standpoint, anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, but shout out to Brad Stevens though. Like I got some notes here. His 3 years as a GM, he brought back Al Horford. He traded Romeo Langford and Josh Richardson, which eventually turned to Derek White. And he flipped Neesmith for Brogdon, and he traded Marcus Smart for Porzingis. And then he eventually traded Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams to Portland to get Drew Holiday. And you signed Peyton Pritchard to a pretty fair deal, I'll say. And then you re-signed one of the better two-way players in this league in Jaylen Brown. And 2 finals appearances as GM, 3 straight Eastern Conference Finals, man. So shout out to
yeah,
Brad. He's doing whatever it takes to put the right pieces around Tatum and Brown to go out there and get a championship, man. So yeah, shout out to him and the Celtics, man. They look like they may do something, but
yeah,
it really just depends though, because we really haven't seen this team play much with Porzingis. So that's kind of the big question mark for me. But other than
yeah.
that, I like what I've been seeing from them.
Where does Porzingis take their ceiling? What does he look like when he does come back? Right? Is he going to be fully healthy?
Yeah.
So there's a lot to weigh in there. But I like what you said about Jaylen Brown. As much as I hate the Celtics, I do like Jaylen Brown, especially off the court. I fuck with Jaylen Brown. Like I fuck with what he stands for. I fuck with him as a person even more than a player.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Same here.
to that point, I was glad to see him get some acknowledgement. Like
Yeah.
we don't have to go and jump to extremes, calling him the number one over Tatum or anything. I'm sure the conversation is going to come up,
Yeah.
but I do like to see him get his appreciation, his acknowledgement in that duo because it just always feels like it's Tatum, 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 Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
Tatum. And it's not really fair to the caliber player Jaylen Brown really is. So
Yeah.
I
So
liked your point there.
yeah. So you brought that up. Did you see his post game comments that he said after he won the award?
Nah, I didn't,
Nah,
man.
he
What,
said he
what did he
said
say?
basically he said he'd never win shit anyway. So so I mean it must be one hell
I
of a
did
feeling
see
for
that
him.
actually. I
Yeah.
did see that. That's
Yeah.
hilarious, bro.
Yeah. But shout out
But
JB though, man.
facts, big facts, big facts. Let me ask you this: out of the three teams that the Boston Celtics played, so they played the Heat in the first round, the Cavs second round, the Pacers third round, but the Cavs and the Heat each were able to get one against the Celtics, while the Pacers get swept.
Yeah.
Um, who do you think gave Boston the toughest matchup throughout their run to the finals this year?
The Pacers by far. I mean, they even said
Right,
in the post game
even
conference.
without getting one, they still
Yeah,
played
they,
them
they,
the
yeah, they
toughest.
had to earn every win for sure, man. They
Yeah,
literally it wasn't like anything was gifted to them. Maybe you could argue game one, But other than that, they pretty much had to earn everything. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely say the Pacers.
They had to come out clutch a couple times in this
Yeah,
series to
definitely.
take this series in four. So I definitely feel you. As far as the Pacers, what's next? I feel like Pascal Siakam, like that's obvious. Like they need to re-sign him. Like,
Yeah.
is he a max player though? Like, am I crazy for asking this? Like, does he require a max to stay in Indiana with it being a smaller market team that it is?
Well, a max,
Like, would
sure.
you give him the max if you're Indiana? I guess that's the question I want to
Okay,
ask.
well, yeah, I would give him the max like a 4 year, I don't know, 110. The
Yeah.
real question is super max because I seen a report today that
Oh, he's eligible.
he's eligible for like a 4 year,
Okay.
5 year, $249 million contract. Now that's where
Interesting.
the real question mark comes in, there, man. And I don't know, man. I really don't know if I would give him a super max, but the max contract, yeah, I get it to him for
Yeah.
sure.
The other side of the convo is who are you going to get instead of Pascal Siakam? I
Yeah.
don't think people like maybe they are with Tyrese Halliburton, the fast-paced offense there.
Yeah.
You sent me a video clip from Rajon Rondo. I'm not sure how many players are lining up to play for Rick Carlisle, although he has these young guys bought in. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
just don't know how much players are going to want to go to Indiana.
Yeah.
I may be tripping here though. They have a good fan
No, I
base.
mean, you got a point. I mean, just look at the Damian Lillard situation in Portland. Like, hell of a talent, but he just
Yeah,
couldn't get guys to come to Portland. They just
yeah,
didn't want to go down. There wasn't a
good
big
example.
market, not really a huge place. As far as like the market goes, is
Yeah,
living and whatnot. So, yeah, he got a huge point there, man.
no, yeah, that is something to think about for sure. Yeah, overall, Pacers to end their season on this show at least. Failure or success this season overall for the Indiana Pacers?
Definitely a success, man. I mean, he made the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in over 10 years, and I mean, that there alone is a success in my opinion. Honestly, I don't even think the Pacers predict they would even make it this far, if I'm being honest. But
Yeah,
they went on and took advantage of the opportunities at hand. Obviously, they played guys without their guys like the Bucks without Giannis, and the Knicks they had injuries as well. So yeah, I definitely consider it a success for sure, man.
yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think it no matter what, you get this far Eastern Conference Finals as the Pacers, it's
Yeah,
a success. You lose to the best team in the NBA this season, record wise, numbers wise.
yeah,
Celtics are the best team in the NBA. You do get swept, but you do play them tough in every single game, like we've talked about.
right.
And then you look at the end season, right? If Halliburton doesn't get injured during this season, what is their ceiling this season for real? And then you could say the same thing about the postseason. They were able to get to the in-season tournament champ. Were they I believe the Lakers beat them in the championship,
Yeah, the
right?
Lakers, yeah, they beat them. Yeah,
Okay. They just went to the in-season tournament final, but they didn't win. So they showed that they're a quality team, is what
yeah,
I'm trying to say.
yeah,
They're a
for
team
sure.
that's built to grow for sure.
Yeah, they just need like the right pieces. They got some money to work around with, so
Yeah.
they have to go out there and get like wing defenders. Maybe a guy like Matisse Thybulle, Kyle
That's
Portland, and see
interesting.
what they want for him. Perfect fit, I feel like. So yeah, they just need more defense. Honestly,
Yeah,
everything else
no,
pretty much there, man.
I agree. Matisse Thybulle, that's interesting for them. Feel like he could fit in that fast pace, get out on the break, wide
Yep,
open, wide open threes in the corner, stuff
can
like
go
that.
up point of attack for you. So
That might be a good fit for them. I could
yeah,
see that.
pretty reasonable contract too. So
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Let's move to this next series, man, because this one's a pain point for me. I'm a big Ant Edwards fan, but you got the winning jersey on today, I should say. I like that Dallas jersey. I don't say that very often as a Philly fan, but I
yeah,
do like that Dallas colorway. It reminds me of the Birds. It reminds me of the Eagles. So what can I
yeah,
say?
yeah.
Um, but nonetheless, you got the right jersey on today. My man Luka Doncic in this series right now. Mavs up 3-0. Luka Doncic, 32.7 points per game, 8.7 assists, 7.7 rebounds on 46, 41, and 88% shooting splits. So this man is cooking right now, and it's looking a lot better than what we were seeing, at least against OKC, from an efficiency standpoint. What are your thoughts so far? Were you surprised with the result in Game 3? Kind of how that transpired, and then my follow up question to that is, how the hell do you stop Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? Because it looks really really hard right now.
Well, secondly, that answer to that question is pretty easy. You don't. I mean, they just they're two guys who's pretty much going to go out there and get whatever the hell they want. I mean, they're just going out there doing it constantly. So there's really no answer for them, I feel like. But to
Yeah,
your first question, I mean, I definitely, if I'm being honest, bro, I didn't expect the Timberwolves to go down 0-3. If anything, at worst, maybe 2-1, not 0-3 by any means.
yeah,
But I mean, it's hard, man. Like when your second best player on the team just isn't doing anything. Like Cat, man,
yeah.
so far this series, he's shooting 4-32 from 3-point range, just 12%. And he just keeps shooting them, which
That's
as a
insane.
shooter. As a shooter, I can respect it. You feel like it's eventually going to go in, and that's fine. But I mean, bro, at some point you gotta say, okay, let me just try to switch it up. Get like posting up or whatever. But then again, it's not his fault neither, because he can't post up if you got Rudy Gobert in the game. Like the
Yeah,
spacing is just not there.
yeah,
Like the paint is cluttered up if Rudy's on the floor. And, if I'm being honest, I haven't really seen a lot of time with him and Nas Reed play together. Like
yeah,
it's like if anything, Nas has probably played with Rudy the most, outside of like Cat playing with Nas. But yeah, man, it's tough for your second best player isn't getting it done. Even Ant Man too, like
yeah.
he's gas going Kyrie, man. Like he has no energy, so.
By the end of the game, yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's done, but it's just lack of adjustments on the coaching end too, man. Just I haven't really seen anything, but yeah,
I agree with what you said there, though. Cat has been horrific in the Western Conference Finals, which sucks to see. I mean, I'm not like a Cat fan or anything, but he played pretty well throughout the first two rounds of the playoffs, and now he is just really shit in the bed.
yeah,
You talked about the 3-point shooting. That's supposed to be his calling card. He's obviously not doing well there, but then you take it to the field goal percentage and he's shooting 27.8% from the field. So it's like he goes in the paint, he goes outside the paint, he goes to the 3-point line. It's not going in. But I do agree with you. A lot of that probably has to do with Rudy Gobert being in at the same time as him,
yeah, for sure.
in the way the Dallas Mavericks are choosing to guard these guys, which is
Yeah,
basically and you're not scoring. Cat, you can try to shoot it from out at the 3-point line. You're not getting anything inside. You're going to get double teamed. And then anyone else, feel free to shoot. If you're going to make shots, you can beat us. And it's working for the Mavs right now. You see it with Ant, especially down the stretch. He's getting double, triple teamed at times. There's always a bunch of eyes on him.
yeah,
And I think what we're seeing right now is that team is missing a true number two. I asked you, or in the earlier rounds, we kind of talked about it. We didn't know for sure.
yeah.
Is Cat a number two? Can he be a number two scorer on a championship team? And the answer is just hell no. He cannot be. Like he cannot be, right?
Yeah,
I think, like you said, you try Nas Reed with Cat just to stop the stagnant offensive stretches. I mean, when they get to the end of the game and the Mavs lock in defensively, they go minutes without scoring the basketball or even getting to the free throw line. So they have to fix the offense specifically. I don't believe that putting Nas Reed in instead of Rudy Gobert at this point, when you said this earlier, or maybe it was off the air, but the fact that the Timberwolves are switching everything on defense, it's not going to be that much of a difference. If not, it would be a positive difference by putting Nas Reed in for Rudy Gobert and just running with Cat, Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels, Mike Conley, and Ant Edwards at the end of games. I don't get where the hesitation to do that is coming from, because Nas Reed has been playing well.
yeah, for sure. It's really more so a feelings things too. Like they don't want to hurt Rudy's feelings. Like he's a four-time
Yeah,
defensive player of the year, so they don't want to sit him down and have him feel some type of way. But man, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like literally, I have never in my life seen a defense player of the year constantly get picked on like Rudy. Like I've never seen it. Like it's not even just Luka and Kyrie. It's the Jaden Hardys of the world,
yeah,
Josh Green. Like those guys are picking on this man, bro. Like every time they get this man on the perimeter, they call him ISO. Like, what does that
yeah,
tell you? Like, that's
yeah.
crazy to me. And this is the defense player of the year we talking about here. Patient zero. Facial zero. That's crazy. But yeah, man. Back to Cat though. So
Yeah,
Carl Anthony Towns called himself the self-proclaimed greatest big man shooter of all time. Correct? My opinion, that's Dirk Nowitzki, and it's not even close. But here's the thing with Dirk, like as good for a 3-point shooter as he was, he didn't just settle for threes. Like he would get down in
yeah,
the post, work the mid range, post fadeaway game. You know, he just had the overall post game. Whereas
yeah,
it's a Cat, he just shooting too many damn threes. I mean,
yeah,
432, that's just unacceptable, man. Like you got to switch it up, you know. And I don't know what the conversation that those guys are having in the locker room or whatever, but you got to be willing to make adjustments in the series. Like they Cat and Rudy lineup, it's just going to keep forcing Cat to shoot threes no matter what, because he
yeah,
can't go down low because Rudy's like,
yeah.
he's cluttering the paint or whatever. So yeah, man. And another question, like, because it was the ongoing discussion with a few guys I know. So do you think that if you replace Rudy Gobert with like any other defense player of the year, like a Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, Hakeem Olajuwon,
Yeah,
the list goes on and on. Do you
down the
think that
line.
they
Yeah.
would constantly pick on any of those guys I just named, opposed to like how they are constantly picking on Rudy Gobert? Do you think that they would constantly look to go at them?
Those type of guys, no, not like the Dennis Rodmans, the the Draymond Greens. No, I think Draymond much more versatile defender. Like if he's
Thank
having to
you.
switch, he's going to be able to stay with guys. I think
Thank you.
same thing with Dennis Rodman. He's quick on his feet. He's aggressive. He's well versed when it comes to versatility on the defensive side of the ball. So I think he would be fine. I think there's like arguments. There are like some exceptions mixed in there. Like could Marcus Smart get picked on? He could, but would it be like Rudy Gobert?
No, man.
Probably not.
No,
Like honestly, like I
right.
would probably trust Marcus Smart on a big rather than Rudy Gobert on a guard. I've
That's
watched
fair.
Marcus Smart have to guard Joel Embiid in the postseason. He was getting double team help, but he was the direct matchup with Joel
Yeah,
Embiid whenever
I've
he would go
seen
down
that
to the
too. Yeah.
post.
Yeah,
So
Marcus Smart just a
even that
smart
one,
defender, man. He'll
yeah,
take
even that one,
charges. He'll do whatever. Like he's a dog. But yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on that. Because to the other guy's point, their excuse was, well, Kyrie and Luka, they're making the same shots, and they are. But I mean, I still
they
feel
are.
like Draymond, Dennis, those guys would do a way better job than Rudy, man. It's not just that
And I
Kyrie and Luka hitting crazy shots by any means.
And I also think like when you look at what Rudy's doing, I'm gonna look it up right now just to see, but he hasn't even been rebounding the ball very well.
He's not
Like he's
been
not
blocking shots
rebounding at
either.
his normal clip.
Yeah, he's
So
only averaging a block a game.
yeah, so it's not even like it's he's not scoring. Maybe he's struggling a little bit on defense, but he's filling in the blanks elsewhere. It's not even like that. He's not doing much of anything. Like averaging 7.7 rebounds, bro, but he normally is around that 12 and a half, 13 rebound per
Yeah,
game mark. He's going
yeah,
against Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. Is it the second or the third? Whatever. Rookie
Junior.
Derek Lively. That's the point. And he's getting out hustled. He's getting out rebounded. So like that's the problem. And you mentioned like not hurting Rudy Gobert's feelings, and I know that you don't care about that personally, but I do understand what you're saying. Like that's what the T Wolves organization, coaching staff are trying to avoid. But
Yeah, it's
what's
obvious.
really gonna hurt his feelings is when him and Carl Anthony Towns are up on the trade block next to each other in the offseason. Like
Yeah,
that's what's gonna hurt feelings. So like maybe
I
they could
mean,
do him a favor and put him on the bench in those closing situations.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, to your point, you hit it on the head. But to be fair though, like I will say this, Rudy has been spending a lot of time on the perimeter, so his rebounding numbers is going to go down.
That's
It's not
gonna
like
affect it.
he's not just like in the
Yeah,
paint, roaming around because they're looking to attack him. Like literally,
yeah,
Kyrie, Luka, they want this man like in the pick and roll, defensive coverage. He's still playing jump coverage or whatever it is. Like they're looking to go at him. So to his defense, he is having to step on the perimeter way more. But yeah, it's going to be interesting this offseason, man. They get swept because I could
yeah,
probably see the Timberwolves looking to move either one of
yeah,
those guys. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, no, I tend to agree. When you look at this series right now, though, going into this game tonight, if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, what are you trying tonight to stop Kyrie and Luka, especially in those late game settings? What are you doing different tonight to try to change the outcome of this series?
Man, it's going to definitely take a lot, but you're going to have to ask those guys if they're willing to sacrifice, and we just talked about it a lot. And it has to start with the starting lineup. Like you have to go with either I say Kyle Anderson or Nas Reed, and
Yeah,
just move Cat to the five, man, and just give him more spacing. And Kyle
yeah,
Anderson will actually be a huge help defensively. Like he's a versatile 4'6'9". He actually matches up with Lucas for like a speed standpoint, so
yeah.
he can like throw slow mo on him at different times. Him and McDaniels take turns or whatever.
He has an
Yeah,
interesting
just
matchup against Dallas.
just
Yeah.
all about matchups and adjustments, man. The Timberwolves, they have yet to make those, man. It's a pride thing, feelings involved, but to win a championship, the number one thing that comes to mind for me is be willing to make sacrifices, and
Yeah.
if ultimately help your team win, then hey, you should be able to do it really good, Bear. So yeah, just make those adjustments.
If you're Ant Edwards tonight, what's your mindset coming into this game? Like, is it I'm gonna attack first, I'm getting to the rack, I'm gonna score the rock tonight, or is it I'm gonna take what the defense is giving me, I'm gonna try to get my teammates involved, try to get those guys going a little bit more? How would you approach it if it was Ant?
Um, Attack, attack, attack. I like. Eventually, you'll worry about your teammates, but just get down
Yeah.
here, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, do whatever you need to do. But yeah, just be more aggressive. I'll say this game, if anything, go out there and try
Do
to
you
get
take
like
Ant
40.
off of Kyrie? Like, do you just say screw it if Kyrie's gonna drop? He dropped 33 last game anyways. If he's gonna drop 33, then drop 33. Like it's gonna happen. Like, do you take Ant off of him and try to match Ant with the scoring with those guys rather?
Yeah, you could definitely like put Anna like a Derrick Jones or Derrick Jones, and well, I guess you had to put Mike Conley on Kyrie then, right?
Yeah, I think that's who they've been like going back and forth with too.
Yeah,
Which
so you
that's
would.
tough.
Yeah, it is, man. But you could probably do that just to save him some energy. But then
Yeah,
again, like, hey, man, or you could put Anna on Luca and then McDaniels on Kyrie, however you want to do it. Like,
that's
just
interesting.
yeah, that's I
Because
don't know if
Luca
they've done it a lot, but
works at a little bit of a slower pace. That makes a little
yeah.
bit of sense.
So he can do something like that. But yeah,
What are you feeling in this game tonight, prediction wise? Where's your head at? Are the T Wolves getting swept, man? I just can't believe it. I can't believe that they could get swept tonight. But at the same time, I can't believe that they're 0-3 in this series as well, and that they lost both at home to Dallas, and that Dallas has controlled this series, especially in the closing moments of games. They just dominated those moments. Where are you at tonight, man?
to be honest, man, I I honestly can't believe that they're about to get swept. But then again, I had to like sit back and realize, I mean, their starting center is Rudy Gobert, and when it comes to the postseason, he's been getting exposed for the past 4 or 5 years now. So I mean, it's honestly no surprise. I feel like so. Yeah, I think the Mavericks handle business. I feel like Luke and Kyrie will play extra minutes to go ahead handle business.
Yeah.
Go and get your rest started, man, so you can go ahead and get ready to play Boston. But yeah, man. I don't know if you seen this with Kendrick Perkins. Did you see what he said? Saying he wish he could take his vote back on Rudy Gobert or something? Like for the defense player of the year
I
award.
did see that.
Yeah, but if I'm being honest, bro, like the NBA is a joke. It's been a joke to me. Like the fact that
Yeah.
a guy like Kendrick Perkins can vote for a guy to win defense player of the year, make all NBA teams, basically
Yeah.
determines if this guy made extra millions and dollars or not
Yeah.
is just crazy to me, man. Like
I don't know. I had an idea. I don't even know if it's a good idea though, but I was thinking like Kendrick Perkins doesn't have like all NBA teams or or defensive does he does not have a defensive player of the year. There's no way. And he doesn't have these accolades, so why does he get to vote for them? That would go across the board for a lot of the voters on these awards and
yeah, definitely, yeah, for sure.
acknowledgments. I was
Yeah.
gonna say my idea, and I'm sure somebody has said this before, but maybe you just use Hall of Famers, people that actually played the game, actually made all NBA teams, actually made all star teams, won these individual awards. Let them vote on the winners. Let them vote on the players who make those all NBA teams. But then you're going to get bias. Then you're going to get former players from former teams going for the players on their team now.
Yeah.
So there's no great way to do it. I feel like, but I feel you. The fact that a blow gut like Kendrick Perkins, who just he runs with narratives, and I'm sure he votes according to the narratives he runs with.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have somebody like that, the award recognitions are disingenuous. So
Yeah.
I feel where you're coming from there,
Yeah,
man.
that's just wild, bro. I mean, I give Perk his props because he definitely have become a better analyst than he was in
Yeah,
previous years. As I've been watching him, he has stepped his
yeah,
game up. But I mean, still though, man, I know it's like it's a media career. It's not like the same as the NBA or whatnot, but it's two different careers or whatnot. But I just feel like it should probably be more of a requirement. He's been
I
doing
agree.
this for like 4 or 5 years now. So I mean, for him to just be able to vote for, this got to be the All NBA player and
Yeah.
et cetera, is just like crazy to me.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. Let's talk about those All NBA teams before we get out of here, man. Because we didn't get a chance to on the last show. But the All NBA teams came out. I believe it was right before the weekend, right before Memorial Day weekend. That is.
Yeah.
Um, so you had All NBA team number 3, Devin Booker, your boy Steph, Tyrese Halliburton, LeBron James, and Domantas Sabonis. All NBA team, second team, Jaylen Brunson, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Ant Edwards, and Kawhi Leonard. And then the All NBA first team, Luka Doncic, SGA, Giannis, Tatum, and Jokic. So quick takeaways. Were there any misses that you felt? Any players that are missing from either of these three teams? Maybe a player on the third team that should be on the second, or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah. I feel like Steph should be on the second team over Kawhi, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, Kawhi did play a lot of games this year, so I do got to give him his props. I think he played like over 60 games for sure, right? Because
He
you have to
played
play.
68, and I
Yeah.
feel like he got rewarded for playing the most games in
Yeah,
his
yeah,
career.
I kind of feel that way too, man. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't feel like he even. I'm not like I might be hating. I might be hating, and
Nah,
maybe it's because he's a
nah.
forward. But I'm not even sure if he belongs on the third team, man.
I can understand that. But I
But
need him
I'm a
playing.
Tyrese Maxey. I wanted my man Maxey on one of these teams, so that's what
I can
broke my
feel it.
heart.
I can
That's what
feel
broke
it.
my heart.
I think him
But I can
playing.
see.
I think him playing most of those games definitely helped him get on there. No
Yeah,
disrespect to him. He did average like what 23, 24 points.
yeah, he had a good. I'm hating. I'm hating on him. He had a good season. He had a good season. He
Yeah,
played the
and
most
then
games.
they was a top 5 seed, correct, or top 6.
Yeah, they played Dallas first round, so they were either the
Yeah,
4 or the 5. They were
yeah,
one of
that was
the
the
other.
fourth, I think. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it's
makes
not.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, but other than that, though, I'm fine with the list. I don't think that nobody was snubbed. I mean, you can make a case for Jaylen
Yeah.
Brown to a certain extent, but anybody else, I'm not sure that they missed anyone. So
Man, Jaylen Brown. I didn't even think of him, but yeah, didn't make any of these teams. And that's interesting because the Celtics had, one of the better records in the last couple of years
mhm.
in the regular season. So for them to not get two players when you do have two that are right there is interesting. But once again, Tatum getting that recognition, Jaylen Brown on the back burner. That's once again why I'm happy you won that Eastern Conference Player of the Series
Yeah,
in the Eastern Conference Finals. Devin Booker, Steph. I feel like Steph, man, you got to get him on there, and I feel you. I wonder how did the stipulations change, and maybe you know this, but like, is it just forwards now and guards? Like, is that what changed? Like, it doesn't have to be a center and a
um,
forward anymore.
yeah, it's positionless now. So
Positionless.
all defensive teams, NBA is just it's positionless now because
So like, you could have had you could have like 4 guards on All NBA third team and
yeah,
one forward.
you can have 5. Like it's
You could
not
have
a
5 guards.
yeah, it's positionless now. So yeah,
Interesting.
because I think on the all defensive first team it's like 4 centers in the wing, right? I think something like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Um, Domantas Sabonis. What are your thoughts on him making the third team? I'm not hating on him. He had a great season.
No,
He
you
was
hate him, bro. You hate him, bro.
he was dominating. He, He deserved. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs. That's my thing. But maybe I'm putting too much weight into that.
Yeah, I mean, he did close the season out on a good note. He
Yeah.
definitely he broke some records, man. I can't quite think of it right now, but he broke some records for sure. It's from a double
I'm
standpoint.
being a hater.
I remember seeing that, but yeah, I'm not mad at him making it. Darren Fox, maybe you could have. It probably was a toss up between him and Fox, you know. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
not mad at it. So I mean, Sabonis is arguably one of the most underrated bigs in the NBA. I mean, you talk about his
That's
skill
fair.
set. He's one of the more skilled bigs in the league. So yeah, I ain't mad at Sabonis making the list.
Last question I got for you regarding these All NBA teams is the All NBA first team perfect in your eyes? Do you think were there any misses there? Anything you would rather have on the first team?
So it was Luka, Tatum, Joker,
Giannis.
Giannis, SGA.
Yep,
I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that.
I agree. Yeah, it's as simple as that for me as well. I saw people like arguing like Jaylen Brunson on the first team. I think they even said it was on X, so take it with a grain of salt. A lot of trolls on there. But somebody was trying to argue Jaylen Brunson over Jason Tatum on the All NBA first team, which is interesting.
I don't know about that, man. It was Luka, Tatum, SGA, Giannis, and Joker, right?
Yeah. And I think like if you put like these guys in positions, especially like Jokic center, he was the best center this year. You could put Tatum at the 3, even though I know he plays 4 sometimes. He's probably the best small forward this year. Giannis, best power forward this year. SGA, best shooting guard, point guard, whatever, right? Like between him and Luka this season. So yeah, I'm not mad at any of those. And Edwards is a guy I'm gonna keep my eye on next year to see if he makes All NBA first team. But I thought second team was good for him this year. Nonetheless.
Your boy Joel, man, you know,
Didn't play enough games, bro.
he didn't play enough. He didn't play enough, but he did.
I don't know if he would have made it anyways. I would have to see how many games he actually played.
If he averaged like 30, right?
He was leading the league in scoring before he went out.
Man, it sucks to see, man. I mean,
he's averaging like 35.
Yeah, he gave Rudy Gobert 50. He gave Wemby 70. Like, my God, that brother
34.7 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 5.6 assists per game, 2 blocks per game, a steal per game, 53, 39, 88 shooting. So yeah, I mean, plays what 20, 30 more games. Yeah, you'd probably made it, but maybe those numbers go down.
This was his best season from a playmaker standpoint too. He's nearly averaged 6 assists a game. So
that's why it's going to be such an interesting offseason. See what they put around this man and Maxey.
Yeah, man.
Anything else before we get out of here, brother?
That's pretty much it, man. Make sure you guys tune into the Mavericks versus Timberwolves tonight, man. Y'all not going to want to miss this. It's interesting to see if they're going to make any adjustments, but if not, then hell, it's going to be one hell of a finals, man. Celtics versus the Mavericks.
Yeah. How important is it for the Mavs to sweep tonight and get that extra, not give the Celtics any advantage, right?
It's important, man. It really is, because the finals is already set. It's going to start next Thursday, June 6th. So you got to go ahead and handle business, man. Which is why I think Jason Kidd will probably play Luka and Kyrie more, honestly, to go and get the job done.
That's fair. Yeah, go ahead and lay them overs for Luka and Kyrie. Ant too, man. I think if Ant goes out tonight, I think he's going to go out with a bang at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ant-Man.
Might not be enough. Yeah. I do have the T-Wolves winning tonight, but I would not put my money on it, just to be clear here.
Man. Put your money where your mouth is, man.
Yeah, it's more what I want to happen, but I have a weird feeling that Kyrie might have a monster game tonight and close this thing out. But hey, it should be entertaining. Come back on Thursday, guys. Everybody that's out there watching right now, I see 58 of you in here right now. Come back Thursday around the same time, right before, if there is another game. If not, we'll break down the game that transpires tonight, talk about the finals matchup a little bit before next week. But definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video, help show support for NBA to the Galaxy pod. Be sure to give my man Slimothy a follow on X at RTR30111 and myself at Scotty Drown. That's going to be it for this episode of NBA to the Galaxy Pod. Peace, everybody. See you on Thursday.